Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here. In the less than optimistic space. Whatever. Transcendent, multiversy opinion space. So no matter where something would be that could think, what the pessimism looks like. Yeah. In terms of what it looks like in terms of concepts and words. I guess that's sort of what I'm doing. And it's, pessimism is just a way of describing something compared to the inverse, which is optimism. And you could argue that whatever reality is, it is, and it either is not a good reality or a good reality, It either is one of those things, and so one of them is realism and one of them is junk. Rubbish, stupid, foolish. So the word thing is sort of popped into my head for whatever reason, so I put the words back on the screen. And in some, tangential way, this sort of relates to Old Fans Contest for why you are what you are. So whether you're an anti-natalist or whatever, why are you? And then, because that's the more interesting question, I guess, is why any thoughts? Why those particular ones? Why are you a fish that swims left versus a fish that swims right? And then that gets into conversations about determinism and where you're born and all of that crap, which clearly has a substantial, influence on what the range of your function is going to be. You're just not going to be born speaking English in China. Well, you're not going to be born speaking Chinese either, but you get the point, right? It's very unlikely that it's just going to occur to you to start. Just like American Indians didn't stand much chance of being born a Christian, before Whitey showed up. It seems like, I don't know, God should have made a provision for that, right? That you didn't have to be told the story. It would arise into you, your belief, your faith. Why do you need the story? I mean, that's kind of unfair, isn't it? It's very unfair, isn't it, that they didn't baptize and do all the things they were supposed to do, and they all went to hell just because no one told them they were supposed to do this other thing. Anyway, so obviously this is not a philosophy that you say, well, who talked you into it, or who da blah blah blah. You don't need all of that crap. You just need to arrive here on Earth, be told the silly stories about what's going on, and say, oh, fuck. I know what's going on. I'm in big danger. So that's a word I thought of. I said, well, why didn't I include danger in there? Life is dangerous. Okay, that's what I would say. Now, the people opposing what I'm saying, because they don't like the word danger, they think life is fun. Okay, and so I can use words like, unprofitable versus profitable. And so that we can always find the contrast between our opinions. Is life running a profit? They would say, yes, of course, it's so obvious. I mean, we're flush with cash. Where I would be arguing, obviously, that all of it doesn't take more than one little kitten sitting in the Mississippi River on a little piece of wood that's becoming saturated by the water, to figure out, no, let's not do this. If that's what it costs, forget it. I don't want it. And this would be true of any, if somebody said, here, you want a piece of candy? It's made out of, tormented something or others. No, I really don't want it then. Where other people are just saying, hey, how come there ain't a Kentucky Fried Chicken across the street? Why do I have to walk 500 feet to get to one? So obviously it occurs to you that it's too expensive, and then, oh shit, sort of takes all the fun out of it, because the whole society is built out of let's all just have fun. It's not built out of, is that dangerous? Is that dangerous? Is that no, no. That's not what it's, it's built by the people looking for fun. It's not built by the people looking to stay out of trouble. So you're not going to be, you're not going to have a great time when you start realizing that, oh, all of this is, imposing, and all of this is, exploitation. I'm supposed to exploit things and have fun doing it. It's supposed to be fun to exploit. I'm supposed to essentially own some slaves, like I inherit them. Oh, I inherited some slaves. Ooh, lucky me. No, I don't think that's lucky, right? If you inherited some slaves and you're kind of a sophisticated, intelligent person, you'd know, oh, fuck. Now look at this liability I got. I not only have to fix their current condition, but in some ways I have to make up for all of the other, deprivations where I didn't allow them to accrue any fortunes, and, they don't have any, I mean, all of the things that were done to limit their capacity to realize, to be a good gladiator. We took away all their tools, no knives, no swords, no nothing, and then we said, look how big a failure they are. That's not. So anyway, a smart person says, oh yeah, I have to do something to fix all this stuff. I have to fix their relationships and kind of make things better, and blah, 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 and I have to make up for the fact, the fact is that they might have limited skills, or skills that aren't worth anything, and blah, 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 and all this stuff, and I'm going to have to retrain them, for the modern society. Yeah, you really don't want slaves. Anyway, if you're, like I said, if you're any kind of intelligent being, it's a liability. Okay, it's like somebody giving you a sick dog. Is that what you want? It's going to be fun? No, it's not going to be fun. So, I should finish up on the Old Fan has a contest every year, and I don't have anything against it. I just don't have anything for it. Something like that. I'm not just, and I'm not a big fan of gimmicky stuff. I mean, you have to do it, I think. It seems one of the things, I don't know, I mean, I did this thing, contests and trying to get people motivated, and it really doesn't work unless you can offer $1 million prizes or something, which is completely antithetical to the whole point of the whole point of the conversation. Is that's not practical. That's a gambling society. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You got the incentive carrots at the, you're holding them at the, the wrong end of the horse. They don't go in that end. It's, yes. But anyway, so there's an extension of September, I think. So if you feel motivated, okay, to explain to other people how simple it is, to have a logical thought process that leads you to the conclusion that having kids is really dangerous. It's a huge liability. It's not going to do the world any good, because we all make a mess here on Earth. We all consume resources, and we do take advantage, and we do exploit, and we do all these negative things. And it's just part of the process of being a gladiator, having to survive. It's me or them. Yeah, that's much of the truth of life, which makes it very ignorant for people to sit there and keep promoting it as if this is really a great idea because we have some fun. This fun stuff. Once in a while we sit on a bench and we feel kind of, oh, we had a nice meal, and oh yeah. And we're all nice and warm, and we're comfortable, and the sun's setting, and it's just so pretty, and la 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 la. I don't even know if we really get those moments, right? Because then there's always, mosquitoes, right? So then you have to have a net around you too, and then you can't quite see through the net, and that's a little annoying. Or there's some asshole, blowing leaves on his yard or something right by your coastal view. Some kind of thing to fuck it up. So we don't even get those little, you know, the perfect moments. We don't get too many of them. You know, we don't get to have relationships with perfect people. You know, we don't, you know, it's just, it's such an oversold sack of crap. And that's part of it. Like, why are these people so aggressive in defending? What is it that they, what? And these are people whose lives aren't watching sunsets. You know, most of the trolls who have all this energy to fight, you know, the cause, because they're so afraid of it, think it's so terrible and it's such a crime. They don't have lives you'd want to live. They're spending their life, okay, you know, let's see if I can research him and find out, you know, where he buys his tires for his car so I can plant a bomb in them. You know, this is their life is this, you know, this strategizing to sit there and try in some sideways way to have his house fall down. You know, maybe I can do something. You know, I can taint the, you know, I can pretend to be bug spraying on my yard, and I'm really spraying acid on his roof so he gets a leak in his roof. I mean, this is their life, is, you know, conceiving and attempting to sabotage. Can I make it fall down? You want to live that life? Yuck. Anyway, so, you know, in a way, this conversation shouldn't even take place, because there shouldn't be anybody who's enjoying their life, right, who's having fun, who would be engaged in a battle, you know, over this territory. And especially when the battle is, you know, so far. Like, you have to drive 500 miles through the, you know, a completely unpopulated woods to get to the location where the big event is happening. You know, it's not like it's even, your picture's not going to be in the newspaper. You're not going to get, you know, your victory is going to be pretty shallow. If you could even accomplish, you know, if you could accomplish your victory, which is to shut it down. I'm going to shut down the person whistling, you know, 500 miles deep in a woods. It's like me being against leaf blowers. Let's say there was a leaf blower 500 miles away, okay, you know, next to whatever, a paper mill. Yeah, you know, yeah, I'd go waste my time trying to stop it. You'd have to have absolutely no life to do that. Yeah, so did I finish up with the old fan thing? So anyway, so the contest is for you to explain why. And, you know, I've made a video explaining why, in the sense that, you know, I played along just to say, well, why am I an anti-natalist? And it seems the biggest #1 reason, there's absolutely no evidence the universe was created on purpose, and therefore it's unintelligent design, and therefore it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work. And so it looks as it should, because it's not made by something smart. It's a bad game. So all the features that look pretty bad, that is all the blood and guts on the side of the walls, fits completely with the idea that something smart didn't make it. So I'd say maybe that could be the #1 reason, that I wasn't, you know, I didn't fall for any kind of fairy tales about the fact that, you know, that somehow being a living thing in some kind of competitive battle for some kind of, the accomplishes, you beat the shit out of them, or you ran faster, or you snuck around the corner, or you did whatever it took, you threw banana peels, whatever it takes for you to win, okay, that somehow it's all worth it. And, you know, I didn't fall for that. You know, that my gain can come at somebody else's pain and it's all okay. You know, that's a great bargain. You know, it's, look, the whole, it happens, I say that's the trick of it, right? I mean, it happens progressively in these little pieces of information. But I mean, I was already there, you know, when I was you know, like I said, I remember being like 5 years old, sitting in not too high a tree, but sitting in a tree. All right, maybe 10 feet off the ground. And just looking. See, the whistles were going off because there was a tornado and hurricane. You know, there's a hurricane coming and a tornado warning. Right. So, and you know, the sky is just as ominous as it can look in one direction. Right. It's not too bad in one direction. It just looks like Satan himself is coming. Okay. And you know, the whistle's going off and the wind's picking up. You know, it's getting windy. And you know, those were one of these moments where you just realize I'm conscious and alive, and I'm sitting in a tree. And what the fuck is going on? I mean, why am I doing this? What am I here for? I mean, it was one of those moments where you're just like so disconnected from finding anything about it to make any sense at all. It just what am I doing? Sirens are going off, all of this crap, big threat, hurricane, blah blah blah, gonna blow my house down, blah blah blah. What am I doing in this tree? What am I doing here? Why am I here? What is this for? I mean, what is the program here? Can somebody give me a guide so I understand what this is about? It's like a play for, you know, the mute and deaf, and you know, it's just, there's no continuity here. There's just no way to follow along. And so I could argue that at that moment I was as anti-natalist as you could get, because I couldn't find any reasoning in it at all. I couldn't find what is this all about? Why am I doing what is this? You know. And so then you can become educated and you find out about, you know, see, I found out about evolution before television, you know. I mean, before television, you know, showed you all this crap. Yeah, you know, I mean, there really, you know, when I was really young, there really wasn't any, you didn't watch TV because number one, it never worked. And there was 2 channels, and well anyway, so it just wasn't part of my life. So you got everything from a picture book or a book or something, or you know, that's it. And so I found out about evolution before I could be shown evolution, so to speak. And just hearing of it, okay, I think helped keep it, you know, get a true picture, because it wasn't filmed in, you know, Panavision, and it wasn't all beautiful in slow motion, and you know, all this wonderful, you know, these images that were very intriguing and all that kind of crap. It was just some sort of idea that it just was a gladiator war. It just was this idea that, okay, the winners kill the losers. The end. You know, and then the winners die. Oh, okay. Yes, it just doesn't sound like much. It doesn't sound like that's fun. The definition of fun is, you know, kill the other people and then die. Okay. So, yeah, that's why I'm an anti-natalist, because I can't make any sense out of this psychology game people are playing, that we're on some great mission to go to the future and be future people doing absolute bullshit, being motivated by, you know, little sensations on the tip of their little sensitive parts. Ooh, there, that's what it is, right? All of this crap for that. So we're paying out this huge, gigantic pile of tragedy, okay, for a little bit of ooh. So if you add up all the little you know, really, they think it's worth it, and you're just saying, how the hell did they do that? How did they turn all of the nasty into nothing, and make the crass little superficial anal twitches into so much? Oh, it's so fantastic. I had an anal twitch. Oh. Ooh. I mean, it's, yeah, it is mockable. It's so insensible. Doesn't, you know, it's just stupid. You know, I guess that's another word. I guess stupid. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, there's no point in using these big symbolic words because, you know, the homers don't get that. Oh, just so tedious. Yeah, that's what it is. It's tedious. Alright, so maybe I'll take a little break and I'll come back and say some more crap about danger and shit. So let's see if I've actually finished my statement about Old Fan and the contest. So just letting you know, you have a couple weeks left. And so if you feel inspired to explain what's, you know, why you're not an idiot, and that's pretty much what the contest is for, why you're not an idiot and think there's some good reason to create a conscious being so he can sit in a tree and do either one. Think life is fun or be scared to death. Yeah, either one of those things is stupid. Sitting in a tree is stupid. Watching a sunset, it's all stupid. Come on, it's silly. It's, you know, just a waste of complexity. It's a waste of complexity in the sense that, well, complexity in itself doesn't cost you anything, but I'm just saying the universe. But I'm just saying when you create the complexity with this huge liability tied to it that you can torture, yeah, now it's a waste of torture. So that's the real statement to make. It's a waste of torture. You should never waste torture. You should only spend torture to get something really worth it, which is preventing torture. See, that's the thing, right? The only commodity that really has value is the negative commodity. And the only way the negative commodity has value is in preventing the negative from happening. You know, and so people think, well, let's be alive so we can create torture, the opportunity for it, and then we'll prevent it and be good. And see, they think that's logical, which is like spending, you know, more for the ingredients than you can sell the product for. You know, I'm going to make money, you know, by spending more on the parts and then selling the completed object for less money than the parts cost. I mean, it's, you know, it's not very smart. All right. Just really endeavor to persevere. I mean, that's all you just can. Somebody's got to do this, so I'm stuck doing it until somebody doesn't have to do it, or somebody else does it. Yeah, that's the catch. Anyway, I'll be back. Yeah, I'm back. So we have the two sides. Hugely dangerous as a perception, or very dangerous, or unacceptably dangerous perception of what life is. Certainly I don't impose very dangerous on somebody else. That's not a good idea, to impose a liability on another being. It just doesn't make any sense logically, and in lots of ways logically, especially when you can understand that you got here by a process, they got here by a process. I mean, you're really just a ticket holder. You know, you're not, you know, anything other than that. And so if you're doing something to anybody who's holding a ticket, and you are going to show up after you're dead, you're going to show up as a ticket holder. I mean, you are going to show up, so to speak, as a ticket holder. Okay, it's just ticket holder, ticket holder, ticket holder. I mean, this whole me thing doesn't mean much in that sense, because me is just a byproduct of where the ticket holder landed. You know, what ticket he had, where he went, because he had a ticket. It said Australia, or it said Mongolia, or it said the United States, right? And so I happen to have a ticket that was a pretty good ticket this time. You know, but next time, not so good, not so much, not so likely. So it just reminds me, what pops into my head is the life game. I really have to make the life game, you know, just because it's just that, you know. I mean, if you think of the permutations, you know, and what the lottery is that you're entering, and the odds are what you're going to be is some sort of organism that lives a tiny amount of time before it gets horribly deconstructed. I mean, just ripped to pieces. You know, the other image that came into my mind was, you know, a guy in an earthquake with his arm, you know, completely, you know, under cement, and he has to chew it off, right? I mean, you know, it's worth it. That's not paying too much for Disneyland. Big deal, you know. Oh yeah, it's a little expensive, but no, come on, it's worth it. It's fun. I mean, come on, you know. What? Anyway, jeez, just all the stuff that can go through your head, and you're just all the, you know, the nightmare scenarios, and you just start going there a little tiny bit, and it just, you know, your brain shuts down. And you're saying, how can people go anywhere near that thought trail of considering all of the horrible prices being paid, all the terrible lives that are taking place right now on this earth just for humans, let alone all the beasties who are being just ripped to pieces in huge numbers. Okay, I mean, every single puppy is getting, you know, almost, it's like, you know, 9 out of 10 don't make it, you know, past being a puppy and being tormented and horribly disposed of. Ugh. So why would anybody be saying, oh yeah, let's do some more of that? I mean, it has to be so much better a game to play than this. And to sit there and say, I want my kid to play this game. I mean, it's child abuse, right? I mean, you can't call it something else. If people actually, if they participated in, you know, letting their kids play gladiator war, you know, with real swords, you know, you'd say it was child abuse, you know. But no, you're doing the same thing, though. You're saying that you're sentencing them to the same horrible ticket game. You know, let's play a game where we just, it's that thing with the bullets and the deer hunter. You know, you're just doing the, you know, and calling it fun. And let's bet on it. You know, it's because it's going to be fun. You know, I mean, it's just too stupid. And that's almost so benign, you know, versus the reality. Because the reality isn't. I mean, they should be pointing the gun to some other party of the body, right? Not the head. You know, being killed. There's lots worse fates than being killed. Trust me. You don't even have to trust me. Just think about it a tiny, tiny bit. You know, all the worst fates will occur to you, like getting eaten by maggots and shit, where they only eat half of you. Not enough to kill you. yeah, just enough to, you know, ruin you for life. I'm just, all the terrible stuff. It's just, there's so many places your brain can go. And for some reason they've said, oh, well, I've been there and I've done all that and I know it's all okay. Because I've even died and I know that's okay too. It's all okay. It's all part of the fun experience. It's just amazing that I even have to have this argument with things that can, you know, do 2 + 2. And people, these are people who could probably figure out, like, they got a candy bar label in their hand and they can probably figure out not to throw it on the ground. You know, they have some notion that, oh, that might be rude and inconsiderate and I wouldn't want other people to do that. But they can't figure out that they really wouldn't want other people to recklessly put shitty tickets in a kid's pocket and say, there's your life ticket. It sucks. Yeah. Go ahead, do it some more. Oh, come on. What are you defending? I mean, they could at least advance their argument into some sort of argument where they could actually... Well, I guess some of them try to do that. You know, they pretend, oh, well, we're going to fix everything. They're Pyrrho types. You know, we're going to fix everything. We're going to have a right to die, and we're going to have a very sophisticated society, and all the machines will do all the work, and we'll just sit on benches and poke each other's little ooh parts. And go, ooh, 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 ooh. And, you know, everything will be just fine. So what? There's no problem. Nobody will die anymore. Nobody will get diseases anymore. No one will be in any way terribly affected by playing gladiator war, because we'll take all of the horrible stingy bits out. Yeah, and it'll just be fun, fun, fun all the way through. even though you can logically know the only part that some parts only are fun when you really need them, when you're really deprivated, when you're really thirsty. Yeah, you know, water is kind of bland and boring when you're not thirsty. You know, it doesn't do much. Yeah, it's just kind of. And the thirsty part, in a lot of respects, when it comes to our ambitions and stuff, is not a pleasant sensation. Loneliness. No, it's not fun. But anyway, so they're never going to be able to take some of the sting out. You can take out, you know, cancer tumor pushing your eyeballs out and different things, but you're not going to take out the fact that it's fundamentally a game of fix the broken. So you always have to create a broken to be fixed. So that's another thought that I wanted to get to earlier that had popped into my head, was about the whole fact that the Martians, quite harmless, no problems. There's no tragedy because there was nothing they were supposed to come here to do. There's no mission in the universe that has written on it, the Martians will show up and fix this. They can't fix anything. They can only fix something that's broken, right? And we're the only thing broken, which is funny, right? So it would be good to have Martians just so they could fix us, you know, fix our problems. Because otherwise there's no problems in the universe. It's a Maytag repairman problem. They don't break. There's nothing broken in the universe till we show up and break it. And now we have to fix it. You know, create the consciousness that's vulnerable and has all kinds of ways to become afraid and harmed, and you know, it's all kinds of, it's so high maintenance. To be able to keep it safe and comfortable requires an extended amount of effort and work and energy and resources. It's a huge liability, and so you have to keep incurring more risk and to feed the liability. So it's almost like the Social Security system. I mean, it's, you know, it's better than no system, but shit, it is parasitic, you know, in a terrible way. You know, so they think that's going to solve it. Oh, we're going to have Social Security in the future and everything will be fine. It's another system that depends on you feeding it. Another system that will have to be fed. So you're just daydreaming that you're going to come up with some mechanism where you're going to just put everybody in some ideal mental state, okay, that makes them, oh, they love jelly beans, so all they need is jelly beans. We only have to give them 17 jelly beans a day and they're happy. You're just contriving a system, and you're trying to say it's closed and all the prices are paid by the jelly bean owners, and that won't be the truth. You're going to be making the jelly beans out of the Martians. You're going to be exploiting something to engineer your solution. So anyway, so their definitions of utopia, to me, is just as vacuous as the religious definition. You know, you go to heaven and you don't do anything. You just sit in line. Oh, the go praise God line. I mean, praising God. You get to go praise God in person. And maybe you get to kiss his many rings. He probably has lots of rings because he loves rubies and emeralds. He's got the entire heaven covered in them. Oh, I just can't wait to get there. It sounds like such a fun trip. No, it doesn't really sound like it. No, it doesn't sound good at all. It sounds insanely boring. Okay, so they don't torture me anymore. I don't get cancer. I don't do this. I don't do all these horrible things. But, fuck. If I can be entertained praising God, then I might as well just... there's no point in having a brain that just sits and praises God. And that's all these people are doing. They're just praising the holy nature, praising the holy alive system. Complexity. I'm praising complexity. Complexity must maintain itself in the universe. There must be sentient organism constructed to gladiator war that once in a while have an intelligent thought and contemplate the meaning of their life, and once in a while sit in a tree and go, what the fuck? What the fuck? We must have things sitting in trees going, what the fuck? Because it's just such a profound thing to do, to contemplate your existence as a parasitic bug invented by an insanely cruel system of fuck the losers. No, come on, I shouldn't have to have this argument, right? That is such a ludicrous place for these people to be defending this crap, and with some, and again, it's just some sort of notion of the holy progress and the holy we'll find a fix for all the problems, the holy, imagine, it's not anything real. It's just some sort of hope. Yeah. And to defend what? So in a sense, they're just defending their own existence, because they think that if you logically conclude your life is stupid, it means you have to die. Right? No, it just means you have to finish it. Okay? Because you're addicted, and there's no reason we can grandfather you out as one of the the complex consciousnesses that contemplated pointlessly. Yeah, we can just let you fade away. We don't have to do anything hurtful to your psychology. But they won't let it just fade away. They're insisting that we keep regenerating. For what? So we can just redo the same process of becoming smart enough to figure out what is painfully obvious, that this is all insanely expensive. Not like a lot expensive or it's insanely expensive. You really can't logically defend saying things like, my life is worth somebody eating their arm off. I'm doing something really important. It's okay to pay that price for it. As long as it doesn't happen to me, of course. As long as I remain lucky, it's really a fine game. As long as, my car doesn't wreck. That's just the extent of their logic, really. That's all they've got as an argument, is I will just dismiss the significance of the price being paid. I'll pretend I'm not going to die, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'll pretend no, all those silly diseases and things, they only had disability, that only happens to other people. I don't have heart attacks out of nowhere, and I'm not going to have a stroke, or I'm not going to have this, and I'm not going to have... None of those things could possibly happen to me because I'm such a special person. I take such great care of myself. I jogger size in my chair. I really work at it. So I'm immune. You can't hurt me. I mean, they really are walking around doing that, right? Because that's the only way you could actually defend this, is that you have to completely annihilate it, all of reality, and just pretend that somehow you're going to remain immune, that a consciousness like you isn't going to sit in the tree and do the whole goddamn thing over again. And make the same rotten choices, and I mean, all those, that's the tragedy of all this, is even if you got a chance to do it all over again, I end up doing the same thing, right? Because it all made sense to me when I was doing it. Yeah, no, thank you, no. And again, I've been so lucky. So the fact that the people, I guess that's another part of it, they don't think they've been lucky, I guess, They think they earned it, and or they think they're just happen to be special. Just they're specially special humans. I guess that's sort of like what they do to the animals. They just kind of diminish their consciousness to nothing because they can't add 2 + 2. And they can't speak English, so they obviously can't feel anything. They can't experience anything. Their eyes are just little dead holes that air goes in. Their eyes aren't connected to a brain that's processing and going, owie, my hands are tired. No, they're not feeling anything. Even though they're squirming around exactly like something that's very sensitive and is finding something very uncomfortable, even though they're mimicking it perfectly. So all the complexity is just to mimic feeling shitty. They don't actually do it. They're just great imitators. And it makes perfectly sense. It makes perfect sense that nature would make them imitate, you know, what it's like to feel pain. You know, just to do it fakely. Yeah. Just all the little fake movements and the fake, you know, yeah, it's just, it's too stupid a theory. You know, well, whatever. It's just so stupid. I just wish you could rip their little brains open, you know, these life defenders, you know, and just see what the hell did you do wrong? I mean, how did you fuck this up? What did you do? I mean, how exactly, or where did you stick the fork or whatever you did? How the fuck did you make this thing not work right? I mean, you know, it's a great logic machine, our brains. I mean, it really is intended to figure out, like, we can't walk through trees, right? And your brain is designed to figure out, hey, I can't walk through the tree. I learned through reward and punishment. I learned through trial and error. Yeah, trial and error. Great expression. I learned. And how have they missed this simple lesson that, oh, come on, the fables are just too silly, right? So the religion thing, you can't look there for the answer. And if you look at the truth, I mean, you start detailing it, yeah, the evolution thing wins. If you look at the function of evolution, what is it basically saying is, kill them! kill! And the whole idea of evolution is to make a whole bunch of copies and then kill the fuck out of them. You know, and then have a couple that linger. And the ones that linger, okay, yeah, breed those so you can make more great killing machines. You know, great survivors. I mean, how far into that truth do you have to go before you just say, come on, aren't we already done? It has no function. It's just complexity, okay? Trapped like an eddy in a stream. It's just a bunch of stuff bouncing around and creating little subtle patterns of redundancy. We're all kind of doing the same thing. I mean, I metaphored it before to like fish. I mean, you go watch some fish in the ocean. You get the very good video now of fish just being in the ocean. And people are watching it, you know, and they name all the fish and they all have personalities and all that shit, but they're all fucked. You know, and they're just swimming in a toilet, you know. I mean, you know, and just, you know, this redundant process of, oh yeah, gotta eat. You know, just jerky, run, you know, run, go back, run, go back. I mean, you want to do that over and over and over forever? How can you make that argument to me that that's a good idea? I mean, that is just such a, you know, it's a steaming, you know, it's glowing nuclear green. It's, you know, you can feel the heat coming off of it. It's this blob of crap, and you're saying, that's the fun house. Let's go play over there. I mean, it's so obvious that this is a toxic waste dump that you don't want to go anywhere near this fucking game. You do not want to hear, you know, the little machine pop the ticket out. Oh, what's my fun adventure this time? Do I get to actually eat my arm off? That'll be so cool. I can't wait. And you think, oh God, all the things, you know. I mean, you know, the things people, you have to, look, I have all admiration for people who endeavor to persevere and fight, and do it because, you know, not for a good reason necessarily, but the idea of it, okay, is, it's hard not to be proud of people that earn and fight and endure and you know, struggle. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm just trying to think whether my admiration for that isn't, you know, is in any way rational, and maybe it's not. But that's not what the story is. That's not what I'm picking at. Okay, that's not what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm not trying to tell you the courageous are weak or the courageous suck. or or the great gladiator who won the battle is garbage. That's not the story. The story is the fact that we have to be engaged in this very expensive process is the story. The story is the victims and having appreciation for, let's not do that again. Because it didn't work. It didn't run a profit. The business failed. Okay, the enterprise of make a human always fails. And it can't do anything else but fail. Because the system requires failure. That's the very model of the DNA molecule, is it can't make exceptional without making a lot of failures. That's the whole point. You can't be better than something if there's no something to be better than. So make a bunch of imperfect, rotten, crappy copies, and because one of them will have an advantage, will be a little tiny feature, will be an improvement, all of that price of all of those mutants is worth it. That's insane. Nobody intelligent should ever find it possible to defend a system. You can't almost Mengele, with his great, powerful, evil mind, might not even be able to conceive of something that insidiously horrible. And here you are saying, oh yeah, I'm voting for it. It's so distant from what your standard should be for a successful game plan. A good idea of a game. It's like having the game, let's bash each other in the head with a hammer. Or, let's throw knives in each other, or stick knives in each other's eyeballs. I mean, the game is that stupid. Yeah. Alright, take another break. Decide if I need to say any more. Blah, 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 blah. But you're just saying, what kind of brain is, because these people really aren't the religious fanatics. I mean, it's not like religious fanatics show up and say, but God says it's all going to be okay, and He wouldn't do anything hurtful, and God, Jesus, come on. They're not the ones showing up to defend this shit. It's not people who have some built-in whatever notion that this is all going to be fixed and we'll finally get to the right place because humans won't be horny bastards anymore. We'll all be castrated and, fixed. Okay, and then we'll live in little fixed feral communities of, and do stupid things like just lick our feet and, make ourselves pretty. So we not do anything with it, right? So we'll make ourselves pretty, but, we won't have any little ooh spots anymore, so we won't have to worry about being happy. Or something. I don't know. You can't even... The religious people really are insane. I mean, it's just so fucking ridiculous that they fall for this promise of what? I'm going to go to heaven and pet the grandchildren. What are you going to do? I mean, if they promised you go to heaven and, I don't know, it's a perfect summer day and you're maybe 13 years old and you're fishing in a pond, and you catch a gigantic fish or something, I don't know, some little success story, and you just get to relive it over and over again. I don't know, maybe that's worth $1.50, but it's not that, But obviously, and again, I guess that's what these people are doing. They're just saying that that's going to be our eternity. Our eternity isn't going to be the grinder. We're going to spend eternity just, I don't know, fishing. I don't know what. I mean, it's just too stupid, really. I mean, why am I trying to make any kind of reasoning in their brain? Because there can't be. I ought to just go back to you rip their brains open and you say, what's the flaw here? Why is their brain not working? Because there's no logic to those fables. Our consciousness is just a byproduct of the evolution of matter. The fact that it can get complex, in the universe. There are reasons it does. It gets trapped. and it creates arrangements, and it has vibrations in the sense that the systems reoccur because they're trapped and they bounce a certain way. And it's like everybody could have a basketball and we could all just have blindfolds and we throw basketballs into the air. And there will be a time when everybody throws the ball at the same time. It'll happen every 1 million tosses or something. It's just a fact. It's not magic. It's just part of what the system does. So yes, the system has created conscious organisms that have this reward and punishment mechanism built in to play a DNA molecule game, to get a little molecule through to the future. And it comes at this insanely expensive price. I mean, the sad stories are endless. What happened to little gorilla? What was his destiny? Shot in a tree? Who knows? Who knows? We know they all end up like this. Okay, there's a spear that finally penetrates your flesh. One of the swords falls and it does dissect you. Fact. What happened to him? Where is he now? Does he still have all his scales? Did he go through life unscathed, or did he have one of his arms ripped off? What happened to him? What's the happy story? Is he in some comfy place now? He's sitting in a comfy chair watching inmendham videos? Don't think so. That's a drawing, it's a painting of a trilobite. So that's synthetic. But you can imagine, over and over, this has been going on for millions of years of this, over and over again. What's their story? I mean, obviously that guy's story, the deer thing, the antelope, his story was probably connected to that cheetah. But who knows, he might have missed. It might have just been a scar on the butt. It's like the zebras, right? You look at the zebras in Africa, a herd of zebras, and their butts are all scarred up. So they've been there and done that fun. Oh, it's so much fun to run away in terror. Alright, anyway. So I've done my job, I think. Part of it, anyway. I have to get more proficient. I have to, become more of a skilled technician at this job of communication with people that are just impossible to understand. I'm just sitting here, like I said, I'm thinking about all these moronic trolls who have devoted their life to fighting me and my concepts and ideas, and you're just, what the fuck is motivating them? What kind of bizarre ideology? Why all this? How can they generate all this passion in the defense of torture? Forever torture. Sorry, impossible to understand. As something that happens through some reasoning process. It clearly happens because of a malfunction in their calculator. Their calculations don't make any sense. What they're adding up and coming up with as an answer doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's 2 plus 2 equals W. I mean, it's so distant from being something you could how did it make that mistake? How was W even a possibility? It should be a number. I should at least make errors that are still numbers. How is the calculator throwing a W in there? 2 plus 2 equals, I don't know, Bugs Bunny. No, it can't. How are you doing that? That's what I mean by, it's so distant from anything I can understand as a process of, here was a group of facts presented me. Here was a, And I drew the conclusion that I have to passionately fight against people who are risk averse and think we should recognize that it's not nice to kill most of your kids so you can have Social Security. Yeah, it's not nice. That's a shitty thing to do. That you should ever tie any dog to the back of your car, and drag it along. And say, oh, it's okay. I was rushing to the puppy store, and so, yeah, I killed the dog. So what? I had to get a puppy. Yeah. Just too stupid. All right, well, that seems like it's probably enough. I'll pause and consider the issue, but I think it's probably enough. Sorry. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Like I said, I should have this more organized, and I should be able to just. But yeah, so far not so much. So I'll work on that. I'm really not a performer. I'm not a skilled practitioner of memorized or composition. I can't read a script. I can only feel it. Yeah, that's it. It's like I have to do this like Braille or something. I can't directly engineer the changing of your mind. I have to do it in this more subtle, more imperfect human way. And I should, like I said, I should work on being a robot and doing it very, put on the surgical hardware, and do it right or not at all. But anyway, this is one of those cases where sloppy is better than nothing. So be grateful there's some food on the plate. Sorry, I'm not a great cook. But anyway, till the next time, I'll work on it. I'm always working on it. It's just I'm working on a lot of things, and that's the problem. There's pictures of reality, you know what I mean? But there's really only one picture. And that's kind of the conversation that I'm most interested in getting people to understand, is the one picture, of the whole mechanical system. And the fact that it exists means nothing. Doesn't mean it was a good idea. It's not how reality works. Reality doesn't work that way, where it knows ahead of time, I'm going to do something meaningful, because it's dumb. It's just the evolution of a very simple process over an endless amount of time, so to speak. Anyway, and well, whatever. I mean, that to me is yes, I'm devoting way too much time to trying to convince people in the other fairy tales, but I guess that's because, see, that's where intelligence is so lost now. And there's so many intelligent people that have regenerated religion in the form of physics, and so that's why that subject's important to me. It's because why are they falling for another fable? Anyway, because they engineered this one. This one's of their design. That's the funny part. Yeah. And it's just as sloppy and silly as silly descriptions of a utopia, a heaven, where nobody gets hurt. Anyway, nobody falls down. That's enough. Cruel, that's a good word to end on, but this is sort of the deterministic mechanical thing, and here's the DNA thing. Yes, it's just about all these tiny little modifications to make you more survivable. This one in the form of a defense rather than an offense. Well, that's where I should leave it, because that's the story. That's where we came from. the wild form, of this organism that was achieving more and more capacity to understand. And now we have enough capacity, and you're just totally underutilizing your capacity to understand by believing in fairy tales. And that's just tragic. He can't do anything else. He doesn't, his brain doesn't have the capacity not to fall for the gameplay. You do have the capacity to see the game, see that it's too expensive, and just vote no, okay, for paying way too much for way too little. Alright. Yeah. Well, cruel is a good word. Yeah. Ignorant. Yeah. Anyway, we'll wait for the, the slaughterhouse image. Because, that's that one tells the story. A lot of the story. I mean, they all tell part of the story, but some things there's more photons. There's more. It's a higher resolution. It's clearer. Well, I guess we're just not going to get it. That's a good one too. I mean, DNA molecule is just about making failures more than it is about making successes. Makes a lot more failures. Oof. And this is the success, right? This is the winning design. Kill, kill, kill machine. Yes. I kill anything, I kill it well, I kill, kill, kill. There we go. Alright, cruel. This is horribly cruel procreation. Alright, till the next time, and impositional, and ignorant, and really, really bad idea. Okay, I should stop there, but I didn't. Alright, till the next time and such.